Care for the Carers, Perspective of Empowerment Interventions on Women with Disabilities in Nigeria. How does it concern us as professionals in the country? We are going to be hearing from the guest speaker by name, Dr. Adekalu from Federal University of Health Sciences, Enugu. I know he will do justice to this program. Lecturer in the Department of Social Work Departments. So, Doc, we welcome you to our midst. This is Society for Women Accountants, Nigeria. This is Umuahia District Chapter. We are welcoming you in our midst, and we appreciate your acceptance to deliver this talk, not minding the short notice. Please, we are grateful. God will richly bless you. All the assistance you have given us to enable this webinar come through today. So,
yes,
the floor is for you, Doc. Thank you so much.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Please permit me to make my face known and why I did appreciate the Society of Women Accountants of Nigeria. I hope my face can be seen now.
Yes.
All right. Please, this is me. I'm Dr. Samuel Adekalu. I'm a lecturer at the Department of Social Work, Federal University of Allied Health Science, here in Transikulu, Enugu State. I'm very, very grateful for this body to have invited me to deliver a talk titled Care for the Carers, Women with Disabilities. It will be of great benefit for me, myself, and also to further appreciate this body to have invited me to deliver lectures in this topic. More importantly, I would like to especially thank the chief host, Mrs. Inda Ofure Azu, the national chairperson for the Society of Women Accountants of Nigeria, and also the host, should I say my own host, the chairperson, Mrs. Inanna Joy Mba of the Society of Women Accountants of Nigeria, Umuahia chapter. And of course, to my boss, the coordinator of these programs, who officially sent me an invitation to grace these occasions. She is my boss, and of course, the boss of my current university, Mrs. Felicia Allied Esther. And of course, let me sincerely appreciate every member of this chapter, and of course, the bigger body of this association. I find it very interesting to learn more about what we are doing in social work department. And of course, you are doing too. Social work is an emerging discipline here in Nigeria that need the attentions of various bodies, various organizations to come in, to know what we are doing, and of course, to key into some of our ideas in order to deliver in areas of advocacy, and of course, in areas of we caring for the society. You know, our major objective, we deals with women functions at which we engage ourselves in. And the topic I'll be sharing with you is a field work that we just recently concluded, just about a few weeks ago. We just recently finished a field work about the recent happenings in our immediate environment. that the current situations of our present country now has called for various, discipline to go into various research, particularly we that we domiciled in the field of social and management science. Of course, it's not an excuse that, of course, even the accountants in which this body hide under are also part of the, initiative that have been taking place in order for us to cope the current situations we are experiencing in the country. And of course, we look at those that caring, those that are caring for our immediate people, for example, people with disability. That is the focus. We look at what is the current situation of people caring for people with disability. And we went to feed, we got some findings which we find so interesting. And we discovered that there are more to do in social work. Of course, we cannot limit such findings to ourselves. We now further, of course, it's also very important we create platform with other institutions that can also help in their own generosity to see that there also helps in coping some current, economic hardship in the country. And of course, the first part of the paper is to look at the empowerment for carers. And when we talk about carer here, we are talking about our own carers. And of course, you agree with me that we have both paid and unpaid carers. But in this paper, we are looking at unpaid carers. And of course, carers are those people that try as much as possible who helps to provide unpaid care and support to family members, partners, and of course, friends who need assistance due to illness or probably disability, or those that are even passing through what we call mental health, as well as problems of addiction. But in this case, we are looking at carers that are female. Okay, carers that are female. What is their current position? What is their current perspective about the level of empowerment interventions in their engagement with women with disability? In this case now, we have persons with disability, but we are looking at women with disability and also looking at carers of women with disability. And of course, I am inspired, and I must thank this organization for the great job they've been doing so far. Through the website, and I did some organizers a long time contributing their quota, not areas of networking and improving the professionalism of their member, but they are doing other extension works by giving scholarships and, of course, caring for people that are in need. And is chapters, representative and the members for the good work done in the life of a blind lady who graduated from Loyola Jesu College in Abuja. That is fantastic. And you will agree with me that a blind person also finds within that category of persons with disability. So by extension to that, I am here to provide, a clear work of what we've seen in the field that is currently happening, particularly in the areas of this current economic hardship that we are all passing through. We want to look at it from the life of the carers, And of course, when you are privileged to look at the national policies on persons with disability in Nigeria, you will agree with me that there are a lot of provisions provided by government in that platform. and in that document to be precise. But of course, there are still some areas that need to be improved about people that cares for persons that have challenges or persons with disability. And by that, that comes to my mind to ask this fundamental question. Is there a need to care for the carers? Is there a need to care for the carer? And the answer is yes. And the answer is what? Yes. And I repeat that the answer is yes. And why? And why? And why? What makes it yes? And of course, let me just give you a brief background about the current scenario of level of empowerment, of course, in Africa, and to be precise, in Nigeria. Empowerment in Africa is a bigger issue that has triggered a kind of considerable controversies. And when we look at it in Nigerian context, there is a clear evidence that institutions that are saddled with the responsibility for social and economic empowerment are yet to link up with carers of persons with disability due to discrimination and other challenges that are attributed to the present reality in the country. And of course, you also agree with me that in reality, the current challenges of economic hardship, seems to have hindered most carers' chances of security skills development and formal employment opportunity. And this has leading to more financial instability. And of course, many also have what we call a level of high dependence on informal and low-paying job. And of course, like I said earlier, that when it comes to carer, we have the paid carer and we have the unpaid carer. Unpaid carer are care work, that are provided without any monetary reward by unpaid carers. But the question is, it is expected that in doing this unpaid care, this should in the stream of opportunity, in the stream of job, opportunities and other things that can even benefit. We have a situations whereby a carer, make it deemed as part of his role to help, persons with disability, particularly a female, and accompanying to to an event where such disabled person was empowered, and the person is doing well. But the person that took this disabled person to such functions is not being taken care of. It's not being taken care of. If you look within our city, even in Omoaya, in our disabilities, specifically women, to various functions. And in most cases, you will discover that those people are not really, the carer are not really putting into consideration in the stream of benefits. And that is what we are looking at. And in this current economic hardship, we are looking at how has this of people. And this will move me straight down to the aims and objective of this paper. And to be precise, we have in terms of the aims of coming up with this position paper, and by sharing with this noble organization, is to give relevant stakeholder policymakers, and individual account of the carers empowerment perspective estimations on women with disability. And of course, it is a case study. In this case study is informed by 3 group focus discussion and 2 individual interviews were conducted among the unpaid carers of women with disability just recently in the month of July 2024 in Enugu State Metropolis here in Enugu. And of course, who conducted it? Who are the people involving in this? We have the advocacy units in the Department of Social Work of Federal University of Allied Health Science, Enugu. We'll find it deemed necessary in collaboration with our students in the field who are currently doing their practicums, those that are currently doing their field work. We share this field together and we went to the field. We listened to the experience of the carers, particularly those that seem to have been left out of empowerment interventions. And they share a lot of brilliant stories, brilliant experiences for us, to know and of course to advocate. And I want to believe at the end of my presentations, I want to believe, and I will also be happy that these noble organizations is looking at other various, an individual members of this organization is looking at other alternative, ways of caring for our people, particularly those that are not privileged like we find ourselves, to start looking at various directions in which they can pay back to the society, in which they can make their own contribution known to the society by creating more awareness and giving support, not only to be specific, not only to the carers we are talking about in this case, but also to those living with disability. And of course, how do we go about this? Okay, the participants that are involved have from different age groups, which we eventually interview in the fieldwork. And of course, from the findings, you realize that a lot of things, were spread out. But before then, we also realize that at the time of reporting this fieldwork, we must also appreciate the significant effort that have been taken by relevant stakeholders and agencies for inclusions of carer of people with disability on intervention to support, number one, empower and to protect their interests in terms of benefiting in various government, interventions, specifically in Enugu. But although we realize that there are a lot of rising cases of neglect, we must underline that word. There are a lot of cases of neglect for carers of women with disability in this current economic in Nigeria. This is still existing. And we got some interesting gist from them, which we'll be sharing with this platform. But of course, let me further also thank this association, because presently in Nigeria, there has been a considerable progress in recent years in getting Nigerians to acknowledge the importance of empowering the carers of persons with disability, especially women with disability. Certain organizations, mostly NGO, that is the non-governmental organization, are spring up to take up this task and responsibility. Let me give thanks to few of those organizations who have taken this so important to them at the moment. We have the Advocacy for Women with Disability Initiative. That is one of the institutions who are doing greatly in terms of taking care of the carers of persons with disabilities, specifically with that of women with disability in our present day dispensation in Nigeria. Another organization is Deaf Women Allowed Initiative. They are also doing fantastic. Of course, we also have Network of Women with Disability. They are also doing extremely very well. These are specific, these are some among other specific organizations that are dealing with women with disability. And they are not only looking at the people affected, but also those that are caring for them as well. And of course, that will lead us to the findings we got in the fieldwork. And of course, if you see from this screen, it's more like a kind of a diagram. I beg your pardon. I want to believe that you are all professionals, and of course, an academic. I believe we have some few academics among you. So I wouldn't want to take it. I don't want to take it more complex in terms of the findings, and that is why I make it a big look, illustrative for us to take a look at and define what we see in the field and the reflections on the current economy reality of the country, and to have a full gist of what some of these carers said in the field. Okay? Like I said, we have the key participants, which form the key events in the field by virtue of their qualification. Okay? We have some of them who have first school living certificates, some who have at the secondary school level, some have at diploma level, and some are at degree level, who are doing this carers work, or care work to be precise. And of course, we come down to look at what is their role. Their role is what they work as a carer. Okay, they work as a carer. Then before then, what the results shows to us in the field, we show the reflections of what they work on. And we stroll down, we see that what is really their functions as a carer. And we discover that caring, their main function is caring for women with disability. Like I said, we are very specific about their engagements. And who are they engaging with? Number one is that we discover that they focus more on their family and friends. Families and friends. And I could recall in the field that families of women with disability also took part in the fieldwork interview that we conducted. Okay, yeah. So there are major focuses on that, and you can see that capture what a carer is, because a carer is not only person. It's not only person who are on pay, but person who gives support for family members, partners, friends, in terms of assistance. So in this case, when you look from the finding, you see that their major role is caring for women with disability, and those they care for are there, which is the families and friends. Now, the bigger issue is empowerment interventions. From that, they are caring. Then we stream down to empowerment intervention, which is our major focus of discussion. We now discover that when you look at the women with disabilities themselves, from the view of the carer, they make us know that there are testimonies and cases, and even they have attended in terms of empowerment for women with disability from various organizations, even from the government level to non-governmental level. So they've witnessed it. They've witnessed, I'm going to show some pictures for you to see. They've witnessed it majorly in terms of training. You will agree with me today that there are a lot of women with disability today that have skills of their own. They have skills, and some of them are tailoring. They are into tailor fashion designing. Some are into hairdressing. Some are into some vocational skills in which they're able to acquire and to become a self-reliance. But of course, having acquired these skills, they can still do things to some extent on their own. They still need the assistance of the carers. Man, the question now is, why is it that in major events, in major interventions, why are carers not put into consideration? Considering that they are on pay and they are doing more of volunteering engagement to their disabled families, friends. And of course, we also discover that in terms of empowerment, that a lot of small, medium enterprise schemes that a lot of women with disability have benefited from. So many cases of them, they share with us in the feed that my sister was part of SOSO's program that the local government organized, was social programs, also NGOs organized, social programs organized. But we are not really seeing the reflections of taking those carers alongside in terms of that empowerment intervention. We also see in areas of employment, just recently, sometimes last year, and I think if we Google, we see it online, and of course, we see it online, and also we can also, Google about it. Here in Enugu, the former state governor, sometimes before he hand over, early this year, there is a woman with disability that attended one of his functions. And of course, the woman was blessed with $1 million naira. In fact, the governor said, if she's educated, they are going to give her an automatic employment immediately. And instantly, the governor gave the woman 1 million naira. And also said, if she's not educated, we will set up a business for her. That is one of the empowerment streams that women with disability, experience. And this is to complement what we got in the feed. And of course, in terms of accommodation, shelter, providing shelter, there are a lot of testimony in these directions as well. But we move down to that and realize that there are cases of neglect for carers of women with disability, which these are still existing. And from the feed, we got to know some reflection, particularly in this current economic crisis. And one of the things they share with us is, in terms of the reflections of this current economic hardship, is economic and poverty impacts. Economic and poverty impact is one of the themes we got in the field. Okay, so in our engagement with the participant, they constantly stated that lack of food was the main challenge they experienced during these periods of economic hardship in Nigeria. And we later discovered that many carers of women with disability cut down their food intake to 1 or 2 meals a day in order for them to prioritize their feeding for their children and even for their disabled family member. In fact, some carers of women with disability explain that family member hardly try, that sometimes they try to beg for money, which they felt ashamed and embarrassed about. However, some of the participants felt that their spouse, that is their husband, had more opportunity to find food outside of the home, as they were more likely to go out. But this was not always, most times they don't bring things back home, which affect the family. So they do explain to us that the lack of food was a driving, setback for them. which has based on the rising in commodity or in terms of current, price of goods and services. And of course, this affect them, beyond their expectation, despite they are carers. Another key point they also explain to us in the field is the areas of employment. In the areas of what? Employment. And some of the participants we engage in fact, many of them that we interview in the course of their engagement with them are self-employed persons. And some of them are what we call small businesses before the current crisis of economic crisis in Nigeria. In fact, some of them explain further that the economic crisis, to some extent, to survive and probably to reestablish that business has been a very high, that has been difficult in that direction. And there is a high level of inflation, which also rise as a result of the various challenges, the ongoing challenges of the economy. So we later discovered that carers of women with disability felt there was a very little support to understand what option they are to take in terms of their businesses. And of course, surprisingly, in terms of loan, it seems to be harder for them to get a loan, particularly those carers for women with disability. Another key point we got in our course of our engagement in the field is the areas of health and well-being. Health and well-being. Some carers of women with disability highlighted that they knew people who become extremely ill and die during this economic, hardship. However, most concern around health and well-being focus on broader issues in terms of their health care, services. Some of them were unable to even take care of themselves, not to talk about those that are taken care of. And a clear example of it, while we are in the field, we discovered that one of the participants is even a pregnant woman who also further explained that he couldn't even afford to go to antenatal or to go to hospital. So it's a bigger challenge for her to go to hospital. And this is one of the things that she stated in court. I couldn't afford to go to the hospital during this current economic crisis. And I am heavily pregnant. I am always at home. In fact, when it was 7 months, my friend accompanied me to register at the hospital close to us. But then I told her that the hospital is too expensive and I don't have money to pay. Now, you can see from a verbatim statement from one of the carer what such person is passing through in the field. And of course, we have seen in the field a lot of literatures, a lot of research focuses more in terms of giving attention to those people, the persons living with disability, without, or maybe it's an oversight, of caring for the carer of the person living with disability. And that's brings us to bigger questions in this presentation. And lastly, to share with you, in one of the findings, because the finding is still ongoing, is that we discovered that there is a lot of dynamics of families and support, because some of the carers share experience encountered by some of their, women, some of the women with disability. For example, women we needed support to get to to have, some of them that needed support in terms of getting a wheelchair. They cannot afford it. In fact, some of them may need to crawl they are crawling within their house. Because if they have been opportune to have been, having that privilege to be well taken care of, such experience will not happen. And I must use this medium to appreciate some of our good Nigerians. When you look at them on social media, you see them providing wheelchairs for persons with disability. Some of them post it on social media. Some of them, it showed the kind of how they felt, and how they feel with the person with disability. And of course, these findings will bring out to a bigger questions here. Empowerment, intervention, and response to current economic hardship. The bigger questions here that we want us to ask ourselves as a take-home here, because I'm rounding up now, as a take-home here, is, are carers of women with disability empowered? This is a bigger question. Are carers of women with disability empowered? With a big question. This question is open to you and I to share, to know the take, which of the stands are we, where do we belong to? And that is why I want to use this medium to appreciate the good work the Society of Women Accountants of Nigeria are doing in terms of providing support, which is not limited to the body alone, and by extension, what they have been doing, Rand. And I want to say that individual members can also look at these directions in terms of paying back to the society from the good and wealth that God has, endowed us with, to start looking at other directions to take care not only people with disability. We have a lot of people who have one or two challenges that are in the hospital. We have people within 4 to 1 square foot in a day. There are people, we social workers, we are seeing it everywhere. We are confronted with so many challenges. We are seeing it everyday cases. And we want to use this medium, as we have shared this with you, to start having a kind of reflections, to look at areas at which how can we care? How can we care not only for ourselves, but for others who are passing through 1 or 2 challenges? Specifically, what we have shared with you on women with disability, I think we can also pick it up from there. And this brought me to the conclusion of this presentation, which I will open a platform for questioning. That in my conclusion and submission to this presentation, given to me by the Society of Women Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, that the empowerment intervention experiences of carers of women with disability during this current economic hardship in Nigeria has demonstrated that government and relevant stakeholders must ensure that their empowerment responses and intervention are caregiver inclusive, specifically the unpaid carers. And this brought me to the conclusion of this presentation. And I want to thank the organizer again for giving me this platform to share our experience in this field. Like I said, I'm also a licensed social worker. I'm a chartered, I'm a licensed social worker. I belong to the Chartered Institute of Social Work Practitioners of Nigeria, and I also lecture in social work related discipline. I'm also a woman resource expert, and of course, these are some of the platforms in which we share some of what we are seeing in the field to a bigger body like this. And I want to also use this medium to also say my heart is open to various chapters, even the bigger body at the national level. At any time, I can be called upon, and I always make myself available in order to make contributions to the growth and development of this institute. Thank you very much, please. So I don't know if anyone have any questions, and the coordinator of the program, my boss, Mrs. Felicia, please, the floor is yours, ma'am, and also for the member to make contributions and to ask questions in areas of any clarifications.
I'm holding the touch. I'm holding the cup. I'm holding the cup.
For the good presentation. Thank you. Telling us to care for the carers. Thank you. I think questions. Are we there?
We are here.
So I think it's time for questions.
Yes, please ask questions, please.
So,
My name is Carlo. I am speaking from Omaya.
All right, that's fine.
Mine would have been a contribution, not actually a question.
All right, go ahead, please.
I think the care of those that are having disabilities, I think what they actually need from us in the society is support, especially emotion-wise, because since they are doing this thing with attaching no cost to it, in our local palace, they say appreciation. So we have to appreciate them and support them, encourage them so that they can, do this wholeheartedly, knowing that someday, because most of the times when we do these things we may not be the ones that will receive the reward. The reward will come from somebody else who belongs to us, not even us directly. Thank you, sir.
Mrs. Carlo, you've spoken very well. That is one of the notable recommendations that will be given at the end of our comprehensive report in the feed, because sincerely, the carers need emotional support. They need to be appreciated. Even beyond emotional support, financial support, and others, they need it. And thank you so much for your contributions. I think I'm still much available to entertain more contributions and questions, please, from the floor.
please, if we have questions, let us ask. And then in the absence of the question, I will invite our IPC for the district to speak if there is no more questions. Now, Gochinyere, please ask questions.
Good evening, all. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
I'm sorry,
Great,
Mrs. Gochinyere Herbert. I'm sorry, I joined late. I was on the road. So I just joined. I didn't quite pick the lecture. I just met the ending. But it's a topic that we're at home. Some of us are at home with, caring for the carers, because it can be quite challenging caring for those who need care. So I just want to, it's a contribution, not a question. We appreciate the guest lecturer, really. I was going through the screen and I appreciate the topic, and I just want to encourage us that as I appreciate what SWAN has been doing, SWAN Umuahia, even SWAN National. You know, we've been giving a lot of encouragement to the carers, the homes that care for the challenged, physically challenged ones. I just want to encourage us to do more. There's nothing that we do for these homes that can be enough. So I just want to appreciate the district. We've been doing a lot of that, and I want to enjoin the new exco that is coming on. This is an area that we would never slack in. At this point, I just want to say thank you so much to the guest lecturer. We really appreciate this lecture. And our coordinator. It's been wonderful. It's a beautiful way to end the tenure of this ESCO, really. I know how tight her program has been, but she has found time to do this. We want to appreciate you. And we say more grease to your elbows. Thank you, everyone who has found time to be here. It's not a vote of thanks, really. Yeah, but I just had to say this. Yeah.
Yeah, Mrs. Albert, I'm very glad and I'm happy that at least you pick one or two things upon your arrival home and probably to join this program. I want to assure you that as soon as we round up with the paperwork, it will be made available to your chapter so that you can see what we are doing in our institutions. Thank you for your contributions.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome, please. Yes. And please, the floor is still open. The coordinator, please, can you take charge and let's move on, please. Thank you, ma'am.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Thank you, Mrs. Ugochinyere Herbert, my former council member. I want to network. Are we there?
Yes, we can hear you.
We are with you, ma'am.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
We can hear you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I am seeing a very big fish here. I don't know how to thank him, but I know my IPC, Mrs. Amakwe, we do the needful. Because in the absence of questions, I want to invite her to the floor to do vote of thanks. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Amakwe, over to you.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening. I want to, first of all, appreciate God for his love and infinite mercy, granting us life to be able to enjoy this great package, every package by our own resource person and facilitator, Dr. Samuel Adekalo. I want to appreciate in a very distinguished manner the SWAN National, ably led by our national chairperson, Mrs. Hilda Ozo, FCA, and her entire ESCO. Because it's what is happening at the national that brought about us at the chapter level, taking after them, following suit. We thank the Umuahia chapter, and this is chapter of the Swan, ably led by our own dear, lovely, beautiful queen, Mrs. Nena Mba, FCA. Her leadership style, we very much appreciate. Even as she's concluding her tenure tonight, to be handing over by tomorrow, we know that it's for greater heights, for greater feathers and achievements. We pray so in the name of Jesus. We want to appreciate in a very particular manner our own guest speaker and facilitator, Dr. Samuel Atekalo. It's not really easy for one to this tight schedule of personality of this caliber to shave off some other engagement to find time to package this and then come and deliver by himself. So, sir, thank you so much. God bless you. And to us, I wouldn't know other dignitaries that are present. However, we have elders in the house. The elders of Swan, Umuahia, and Society. We have our own Mrs. Ugochimere Herbert, who spoke last. Even though she has been very busy lately, but still, she just found time to join the seminar. Mommy, thank you so much. Remain lifted.
Thank you.
Our coordinator, hi, a woman with a heart of gold. My beloved Elisha Eme, FCA, I also appreciate you. Despite your numerous assignments up there, you still had to organize such a beautiful program for Swan Umuahia. I'm so glad that we are coming up really in this environment. Thanks so much for God granting you to us. Well done. And then members of Umuahia and the Society of Swan, we appreciate each and every one of you, especially those that found time to join this program. I know you have grabbed one or two things. Like Mrs. Herbert really said, the incoming ESCO, the ball is now in your court. The outgoing, they have done all they have, and we are very proud of them. Now they're throwing the baton to you, and I know with us here supporting you, you will do well. You'll do even better by God's grace. So we thank every one of us and pray that God will continue to help us, preserve us in all our life endeavors. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you. Bye.
Amen. Thank you so much, ma.
To
Thank you.
wrap it up, I want to thank my Vice Chancellor, Professor John Imaimo, for finding time to be here with us. Sir, we appreciate you. I don't know if you have anything to say to us.
Thank you very much, ma. I want to actually thank the Swan Umuahia for giving us a fantastic exchequer. We have been feeling the good work of the Swan Umuahia through our bossa. I think this is very lovely. It also shows that the accountants are not just counting money. They are also carers. It's very interesting to listen and share this time with you. I want to appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
Up Swan.
Up
Sir, we are
Swan.
very grateful. Sir, we appreciate you more. Thank you so much. We've been hearing of your good works and we are grateful. Thank you so much, sir.
Many thanks, Prof.
Doc, we are so grateful. Thank you for taking up these assignments. You know that the district will definitely appreciate you when it's time. Thank you. God bless you.
Cheers to you all.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm grateful. Thank you so much for the privilege.
Sir, we are highly honored to have you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
In due course, you will hear from us. Thank you.
Thank you, my council member. I appreciate. Remain blessed.
I'm sure the whole of SWAN is thanking him, but they are muted. I wish they could unmute.
That's it.
We are very grateful, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Very grateful. God bless you. Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Up SWAN!
Women of integrity.
Women of integrity. That is us.
Women of integrity.
Yes.
Thank you all for your participation.
Thank
Remain
you.
blessed. I think we are
Thank you.
good night.
Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
Bye. See you
Bye.
tomorrow. Please, everybody should be part of the
Bye.
Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye. Everybody
Bye.
should be part of the Thanksgiving tomorrow and the handover thereafter.
Oh, yes, the Thanksgiving. That's true. Yeah.
Amy, let's make our time and be part of the Thanksgiving tomorrow and subsequently the handover at FMC Umahia, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Noted. Thank you all. Thank you. God bless
Coordinator,
you.
good night.
Good night. Good
Good
night.
night. Have
Thanks
a
a lot.
Dream about you.
Adios. Wow.
Bye.
How come I'm not hearing the chairperson's voice? Is she not here?
Yes,
I've
that's
got
true. I
her.
don't
She's
think
not. I've
Okay,
got her
she,
leading people.
yeah, that's serious. Why very much unlike her?
I don't think she's here. She's not one of the
She's not.
participants. Something must have gone wrong. Yes.
I called her. Maybe network issues.
It may be network because I know her. She cannot miss it.
She can't. Oh my.
Network.
You know, it's been raining. It's been raining. So
seriously,
it will distort a number of networks now.
Because I've been calling her.
Sure. Okay, no problem.
Sure.
She'll hear.
She'll hear. She'll be feeling so bad.
I tell you.
I hate to go. La 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 la.
Let's go to the other room. Let's go to the kitchen. Bye. This is lovely.
See you all tomorrow.
This is very lovely. Because
honestly,
we want more of this. So we want more of this.
Honestly.
SWAN
is going nuclear. Huh?
I tell you, my hair is going nuclear. Not just SWAN, but my hair in particular.
My hair in general. Okay.
I tell you, this is sweet. Oh, my hair. I'm telling you, my hair. My hair of all places. That I even don't know. Abuja, you can imagine now. We are coming up by his grace.
Now.
When we get to the meeting, you address poor attendance. The executives are not here, apart from Chidi. All of them are not here. Nenda is not here. Kalisa is not here. Poor attendance.
Good night.
Oh,
no problem. We had 17 participants, so that's great.
That's great.
Most of them are not from our district. I got some from Enugu.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm sure it's network because all of them are people who don't miss anything. I'm sure it must be network issues.
Next time when we're having this kind of thing, you can even extend to other districts like Aba, Enugu, the neighboring SWAN.
That is it. And this platform would have accommodated 100 participants.
Okay.
Yes.
100 participants at least.
The publicity was not, it came late. It came late, so no time. Because if this thing had been like 1 month's time, I would have linked my friends, SWAN, other place, even though where itself, I have friends there to participate. So,
yeah. So the only thing to do is just to post it on their platform too, the link on their platform.
That's what I mean now.
I thought it was done for those around. I thought it was done.
I wouldn't know, but
I don't know. But Nana said I should hand over to her once I'm done with the link. I did same.
Okay.
But what happened? What I saw is not showing that it was well publicized.
The publicity is not
it was sent to the other. It's
Yes.
okay. It's okay. We'll keep improving, but 17 participants is good.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Now.
Thank you so much.
All right. Good night.
Good night,
Good
ma.
Are you
night.
in Enugu? Are you in Enugu or
Hi.
Umuahia? Coordinator.
I'm Enugu. I dey for Enugu.
Okay.
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 No problem.
It's okay. We'll talk later.
Represent you.
Well,
Mama,
good night.
good night, oh.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.